From Chicago, Illinois, Andy Rogoznica. From St. Louis, Missouri, a former National All-Stars champion, Billy Welu.
Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Championship Bowling here at the beautiful Strike and Spare Lanes. And this is our final week for the big finals, the last two men making their second appearances. We have Big Billy Welu going in with 720, Andy Rogoznica with 665. They'll go 3 games, total pins, $1,000 to the winner, $500 to the loser. 24 stars have appeared over these past weeks, twice. Total pins for the 6 games qualifies the 2 finalists for a $15,000 added purse. We're shooting at Pat Patterson's 1419. Pat coming through in the clutch last week with 672. That's just what he needed, 1 pin to top the young Detroiter Bobby Kowalik, who is in the second spot with 1418. Now, all of this competition is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress, over $60,000 in prizes, all 300 games worth, an additional $10,000. We'll be ready for game number 1 in just one moment.
Andy Rogoznica winning the toss, electing to start on the left side, throws it up too high, almost gets to Brooklyn, leaves the 6 pin. 3 games, total pins, $1,000 to the winner. Both boys in contention here, shooting at the 2 top scorers who have posted 1419 and 1418. Pat Patterson of St. Louis, Bobby Kowalik of Detroit. If these 2 totals hold, starting next week over 6 games, 2 weeks, it'll be Patterson against Kowalik at the 6-pin cover. But here's the fella that can change that schedule, Billy Welu of St. Louis. Now, Billy needs 699 for 1419, which would put Bobby Kowalik out of the finals. Billy Welu, the 1959 National All-Star champion, throws sets too high, the 4 and the 7. A great record here for this fella, one of the real popular members of the AMF staff of champions. 699. He's got to average 233. He can't make too many mistakes. And Billy is really ready for this appearance. He's been working out here for the past 3 days, has bowled many, many games, and he knows how to handle himself in situations like this. Born in Houston, Texas in 1932. We're in the second frame. He throws it up there, and he carries the 5-7. We racked up our 6th 700 total last week when Georgie Howard kept Pat Patterson very busy. Howard winning the match, but a bit short. Howard in 3rd position. Of course, that's no good for the finals. Rogoznica is in, and look at that 8-pin up there. Well, he got a good piece of that pocket. It's Welu and Rogoznica, the last 2 men in our field of 24, the nation's great bowling stars, making their second appearance. Total pins for the 6 games. Rogoznica, look out, Andy. He's got it. Andy, in his first match, lost a thriller to Eddie Lebansky of Detroit, 665 to Lebansky, 672. Andy had a great finish, almost pulled it out, finishing with 269. So Rogoznica needs 754. Welu needs 699. Billy defeated Ray Shannon of Milwaukee in his first appearance. Here it comes. That's the ball. So Rogoznica could very well have the double, but the 8-pin stopped him. First ball he threw too high. The big ball. He throws, he sets, he's in, and there's another 8-pin. And Billy can't quite understand that. We've had 2 8-pins in succession here on the right side. So every strike that Welu does not use or that he does not count and makes a double out of it, believe me, it's life for Bobby Kowalik of Detroit. The Detroit youngster's been sweating it out, and last week it was a little rough. There's the 8-pin. Last week, Georgie Howard, who was closing fast with just 3 frames to go, still had a chance to join Patterson as the 2 top scorers. Patterson needed 3 strikes in the 10th to top Kowalik. They had already both passed Lindy Faragalli, who was in the 2nd spot. So this is it for Billy Welu as he moves left in the 4th, throws, he's there, and he leaves the 7-pin. So Billy's had every ball right near the pocket. He was a little high in the first frame, carried the strike, then the 8-pin, now the 7-pin. So every frame that Welu passes without the strike, it'll be that much more difficult in the 2 games remaining. There's the spare. So Welu now is 59 spare, and Rogoznica has a chance to take the lead if he can get the first double of the match. Thin, no shake, 2-4-5. So Rogoznica doesn't get up there. Andy was born in Yugoslavia in 1926, came to the United States in 1937 when he was 11 years old. Came over with his older brother to live with his uncle. Operates his own bowling supply store here in Chicago, and he's been making great progress the past few years and recognized as one of the real fine match game shooters. In 1961, in the Shreveport Open, on the summer circuit of the Professional Bowlers Association, Andy finished 2nd to Dick Weber. That was in the Shreveport Open. He was 5th in Omaha on the National All-Star. Look out, look at here. Boy, got a lot of action on that one. So Rogoznica now with a strike in the 5th, 79 strike. Billy Welu now in the 5th frame. 59, he's on a spare. He's got to get 2 here to get this thing moving. Sets it, here it comes, and this time the 5-pin. So Billy having a little trouble carrying. And again, we point out he needs 699. In his first appearance, he got off beautifully with 248. He followed with 248, finished with 224 for 720. A member of the All-American team 6 times. Runner-up for the Bowler of the Year. 1959 to Eddie Labansky. So at the end of 5 in game number 1 on championship bowling, Rogoznica 79 strike, Welu 78 spare. Welu in on the left. We're in the 6th. Last half of the first game. Billy throws. It's up there. This time, he carries all but the 5-pin again. So Welu seems to be a little strong up to now. That ball moving. Throwing it a little fast, not being able to carry. Now, actually, he has had every ball around that pocket. He's had 1 solid strike in the 2nd. He was a little high in the 1st. He had an 8-pin, a 7-pin, and 2 5s. So Rogoznica once again moves in right with a chance to take the lead. Andy's on a strike. You'll have to hurry. Gets a piece and a double. 5-7. He shakes it up and gets it out of there. Here's a fella that very seldom practices. In fact, the boys around the strike and spare lanes here in Northbrook, Illinois, will tell you that probably the entire field, to the man, bowled at least 3 to 4 times more games than this fella has. So there's the triple. Andy believes that you can bowl so many games, and that's as good as you're going to get. If your game isn't right, it's just not going to do you any good. In fact, he claims if you bowl too much, you can get into bad habits. He'd rather bowl under pressure more than practice with really nothing at stake. Welu was high again, and Billy's having trouble. He's got 1 strike. Now, he tried to push that one up there. He's been a little on the short side with 2 5-pins and a 7-pin. He gave that one a good push to throw it up high to see if he could hold the line. It moved too fast. On the nose, the 6-pin. He had the 6-7 up there for a moment. Cross lane at the 6, and he has the cover. So Bobby Kowalik, who is the man in jeopardy here, he'll be the first fella out if either of these fellas can get enough. Rogoznica needs 754, Welu 699. Pat Patterson certainly not sitting on the easy seat either, although Pat has some hopes. If only one of these fellas beat him, it's all right. Well, Welu got a kick out of there. Almost had another 5-pin. In other words, if Welu shoots 700, 699 or 700, and Rogoznica shoots 754, both Patterson and Kowalik would be out, and we'd have a rematch here between these two fellas over the next 2 weeks. And Mr. Rogoznica is still in there. Another one, that's 4. 109 in the 5th. All you got to do is strike him out and add 150, and he'll have 259. And he's got to average, actually, 251 plus for 754. So Rogoznica now moving to the left side. Dig it. Oh, this fella's got the line. If he can hold it now for 2 more games, anything is liable to happen. He has a lead of 33 pins over Billy Welu. Andy is spotting Welu actually in this match to get into the finals. 55 pins, and he has 33 of them right now. And Welu needs this strike. And he's not going to get it. He has the 6-pin, and Rogoznica now has actually cut the margin between himself and Welu to about 40 pins. 665 and 720. The difference there, 55. He's got it down to about 20 pins. There's the cover by Welu, and Billy unable to get the double. Welu moves left. Chance for 206. Boy, he's going to need 2 big ones. We watched this fellow shoot 806 on television in Detroit some years ago, including a 290 game. He had 30 strikes out of a possible 36. Billy's dad was an all-star in Houston, Texas, many years ago. There he comes. So Welu now with his 3rd strike, his 3rd chance for the first double. Say, I'll bet there's a lot of you folks out there who have never bowled that wish you had, because maybe it was a little embarrassing when some friends of yours asked you to join them for a little bowling session. Well, don't let it happen again. You can get instructions at any of the finer bowling establishments. Well, this might break something loose. Billy says safe at home. He knows he's throwing that ball a little fast. The pressure here certainly mounting. Welu now with 206. He needs, well, about 493 over the last 2. Big Billy trying for number 3. He's on the nose again, and can that be? 2 in a row. He just threw that one up there, trying to get the big count, and he settles for 206. 5 strikes, and the last 2 are of the accordion variety, And let's give Rogoznica a look here. 259. He can beat Welu by 53 pins. Here he comes. He's there. Now, we keep mentioning that he only trails Welu by 55. He will be within 2 pins of Welu with 2 games to go if they both can come up with big ones. Next week, we start the finals. The top 2 scorers will go 6 games. Too high, and a big mistake. He has the 2 pin for 240. 248. .248. He needs 754. Don't count him out. Andy Rogoznica from the Windy City of Chicago. 3-finger ball. Covers the 3-pin. 248 for Rogoznica. 206 for Billy Welu. 2 games to go. And then, of course, we'll know who our 2 finalists will be on Championship Bowling. This is Fred Wolf. We're at the Strike and Spare Lanes in Northbrook, Illinois. We'll be back for the second of 3 right after our hosts move in here for something of interest to all of you.
The scores for the first game. Billy Welu finally getting a double in the 10th frame for 206. Andy Rogoznica closing the gap with 248. Now, there are 2 games to go. Both boys have really got to go. Rogoznica needs a small 500. Billy needs a little over 490. They know exactly what they need, and we're going to see if they can get it. We're shooting at Pat Patterson's 14-19. Bobby Kowalik's 14-18. It's the last series before the finals next week. Are you ready for the second game? Ready? On.
Billy Welu. He needs 493. Rogoznica needs 506 in the last 2 games. Can they get it? Still Pat Patterson and Bobby Kowalik. Welu throws. He's in there. That's 4 in a row. So Billy finally kicked it loose with a double in the 10th, actually getting 3, but the last 2 were right through the middle. This may give him just the confidence he needs. A break or 2 along the line sometimes will kick a boy loose. Rogoznica with a lead of 42 pins. Steps up in the first frame, and he's on the nose, and he is wide open. The 410. Well, this will hurt Andy. He just can't make any mistakes, needing 506 in 2 games. Andy Rogoznica, winner of the 1958 Fanatorium Classic up in Grand Rapids. Come on, a little more. Nice try. Just missed the 4-pin. So Rogoznica with the first open frame of the match. He moves left. String of 6 in a row in the first game. Here he comes. There, at this time, the 10-pin. Championship Bowling from Northbrook, Illinois. You've watched the greatest bowlers in the nation appear on Championship Bowling over these many years, from Louisville, Kentucky, Chicago, Toledo, Ohio, Coral Gables, Florida, Chicago Heights, Paramus, New Jersey, Skokie, Illinois. Rogoznica has the 10-pin, and Billy Welu now has got to start the string. It's $1,000 here to the winner, $500 to the loser. Welu sets it. It's in, but he gets away with it, and that's 5 in a row. So Billy now begins to loosen them up. Billy throws the 3-finger ball. Actually, he calls it the Welu grip. It's a fingertip for the first finger, or the second finger, actually, the first finger that you put in the ball. The third finger span is conventional. Too high. Welu is open. At least he's going to have to make a terrific shot. He's got the 6-7 up there. So Welu draws his first split after starting with 2. And Bobby Kowalik must be feeling a little safer right now. At the 6 and the 7. A great try. Welu is open. And Billy can't afford any more of those. 493. We go into the fourth frame. Rogoznica. Andy's bowling his third frame. Welu has finished 3. Andy throws, and he has a big strike. So Andy's got to get this one in to even up the doubles and keep that margin of his. He went into this game number 2 with 42 pins. Andy was a National All-Star finalist in 1959. He finished 12th. In 1960, he was 5th at Omaha, Nebraska. Well, you're going to hear a lot from in the next few years. There you are. Throws a pretty good ball. Doesn't use too much of the lane. Keeps it pretty tight. Gets out of it beautifully, and he has now evened this game up as Welu moves in the fourth on the right side. Well, Billy's just not getting in that pocket. He threw that one out too far, and the 5-7 looks at him. 2 splits in a row. This one, of course, not near as difficult as the 6-7. But Rogoznica now, with another 2 strikes on his 2 turns on the lanes, could go right past Welu, and it'll be Rogoznica who will have the chance to move into the finals. The 5 and the 7, and he turned it in. Nice shot. Big Billy needed that one. There was no other way. Welu is still potential 256. Strike it out, boy. There's the first one. So Welu with a strike in the 5th as Andy Rogoznica moves in with a chance to pick up more pins on his opponent. Now take a good look at the style here. You folks would like to get out and improve your game. Here's a fellow that takes it pretty easy. 5 steps, sudden stop, sets it. He's in, he carries, and that's a triple. So Rogoznica now at the end of 5, filling in the 30s, is 58 on 2, Welu 76 on 1. Number 4, too high, 4-7. So Andy unable to keep that ball in that pocket. He was on the nose in the first. Wide open, 4-10, a 10 pin in the second. Went into the 6th frame on a turkey. He has a lead of 10 pins here in the second game. He won the first game by 42. He has that spare. So Welu now, with a strike in the 5th, must make the big move. He has a game and a half to go. He has only picked up 6 of the 99 pins that he needed. 699. He's got to get 93 of them in the last game and a half. He's too high. He's in the middle, and he has another wide open split. And Bobby Kowalik must be taking a deep breath somewhere, because Welu is the big threat. Any folks here at the Strike and Spare Lanes in Northbrook, Illinois, watching Billy in practice? It's the old story, though. Thought he had a great chance. Here! Well, Billy almost made the 6-7 in the 3rd frame. He just went by the 6 pin. Then he made the 5-7, and now the 4-10. Great eye. He's still within 10 pins of Rogoznica. $1,000 here to the winner, $500 to the loser. Both boys thinking of $14,18 for an additional $10,000. The winner in the finals receiving 10. Welu leaves another 5 pin. Well, he had two 5 pins in the first game. The 5 with the 7 here in the 4th frame of this game. Billy can't find that strike line. He's been high and he's been a little short. Covers the 5. Gives him 115 in the 6th with a spare in the 7th as Rogoznica moves in the 7th, protecting a 10-pin margin. there. Boy, you'll never lose any pins if you keep throwing them in that 1-3 pocket. Rogoznica with a lead now of actually 11 pins in the second game. He won the first one by 42. He has a 53-pin margin. $1,000 hangs in the balance. Rogoznica with a chance for 246. Now, this fella needed 506. Don't count him out. 506 over the last two games. And he can do it. Here he comes. One more. Boy, there was a big one. So Andy gets the big double. 246 and 248 would give him 494. He would need 260 his last game. He finished his first match with 269. That means anything. Welu, that's the ball. Billy gets the big strike, and the eighth moves to the left side. Billy has traveled thousands and thousands of miles over the years. He's toured Europe, Japan, Korea, Okinawa, Hawaii. He's even been to Greenland. He's an accomplished speaker, writes many columns in newspapers around the country. And in those columns, he tells you how to throw that bowling ball, and take a good look at him. He knows how to handle it. There's the double, so Billy still is 225. That'll give him 431. He, too, will need 260. So Rogoznica has a chance to make things very interesting. In the ninth, gets it up. He's there, and he's got that one, and that just about wraps up the second game for Andy, if he can pay attention here in the 10th. Both boys going into the 10th frame on strikes. Rogoznica is on 3. Welu is on 2. Actually, Rogoznica now has moved out in front of Welu in total pinfall. No, no, no. Out the window. The 1 and the 2, Andy missed the head pin, and now needs one so big here in his last game that if he can get it, I'm sure that the roof here at the Strike and Spare Lanes will probably be sprung loose. We have a capacity crowd here with us as championship bowling begins to reach the point where things are getting very tense. Everybody knows what everybody's got to do, and Pat Patterson and Bobby Kowalik, who we understand arrived here at the Strike and Spare Lanes just a short while ago. Bobby in from Detroit, Pat Patterson in from St. Louis to watch these two fellas to see whether or not they're going to be back for the next 2 weeks in the championship roll-offs. In the 10th, Rogoznica for the count. He gets 9 for 223. So Big Billy now moves in on the right. This is his last stand. He's got to get the double in the 10th. There's the first one. So Welu now back out in front of Rogoznica in the race for the finals, but Andy has himself a lead in this match for the $1,000. Billy needs this one to win this game. This strike and 9 will give him 224. Too high, Billy. On the nose. He leaves the 3-pin. So Rogoznica has made it 2 straight, winning the first one 248 to 206. This one 223 to 214. The cover 214. So in the second game here on Championship Bowling, in the final match before the championship roll-offs, Rogoznica 223, Billy Welu 214. 1 game to go. There is room. Don't go away. Fred Wolf here at Northbrook, Illinois. Our hosts out there in your neighborhood would like to come in with their message.
Well, let's take a look at the situation. Billy Welu with 214 has a total of 420. Rogoznica, winning his second straight with 223, has a total of 471. It figures out this way. Billy Welu, 1 game to go, needs 279. Andy Rogoznica needs 283. If they can't get 279 and 283, it's going to be Pat Patterson and Bob Kowalik in the finals. 10 frames to go. It'll be interesting to see just what happens. Of course, there's still $1,000 here going to the winner of this match, and I'm sure that the boys are thinking of that too. Now, before we start the third and final game, you've heard us mention our statistician, Charlie Crovetti, who is our host here at the beautiful Strike and Spare Lanes, a member of the Bowling Proprietors Association of America, and I'd like to call him out here. Mr. Crovetti. Charlie? I don't know what I'm shaking your hands for. I've been sitting up there for 24 weeks with you. Charlie, you've been in the game a good many years, and I just thought possibly you might just mention a word about how you feel about the tremendous progress of this great sport.
Buddy, I think that championship bowling in the last 8 years, it's been filming these shows, has done a wonderful job, and it has been a big boost for bowling. It's let the average bowler watch the professional bowlers. They get tips from it. They watch different styles of bowling, and it makes them come to the alleys and try out. And they come in the summertime because now this is not a sport that you can only bowl in the wintertime. It's air-conditioned places like this one here and all over the country, and it's terrific.
Thank you very much, Charlie Crovetti. Okay, Charlie, back in your seat. Well, it's that simple. No matter where you may be, just look in the yellow pages. Most of the better establishments display this BPAA symbol, the Bowling Proprietors Association of America. We're ready now for game number 3, the big one. A little encouragement here, and we're off. Come on.
Andy Rogoznica, who won the toss, elected to start on the left side in the first game, back on the left in game number 3. 283. That's the magic number. The 10 pin in the first frame. So Rogoznica has only one way to go. He's got to strike out. He can get 290, and the only way he can get that is to follow with 10 in a row. He'll only need a few pins on his last ball. Actually, he'll need 10 in a row and 4. How'd you like that for an assignment? The cover, he's got it. Now, Billy Welu has a couple of ways to go. To get 279, he can start with 2 spares and strike out. He can start a string anywhere, but he better get 9 and make the spare and strike out, because that's the only way he can get 279. So if Welu gets the strike in the first frame and does not double, he cannot shoot 279. Oh, look at here, the 8-pin solid. Well, he could get 280. I'll correct that. He could go strike spare and strike out for 280. But now, with a spare in the first frame, he's going to have to start the string real quick. That's the third 8-pin in this match this week. All on the same side, lane 48. So Billy now moves to the left side. Former St. Louis match game champion. Started in 1946 when he was 14 years of age. Attended St. Thomas University, has a master's degree. Oh, Billy, they got that first one and could have been off with 2. It might have been a big difference. Now he's got to string them out. 279. Pat Patterson, Bobby Kowalik, waiting it out, sweating it out. 1 game to go. Rogoznica throws on the nose, and Andy has the 6 and the 7, and that eliminates Rogoznica as a finalist. And Andy's going to have to tighten things up a bit here. He's going to find Mr. Welu right after him for the $1,000. The margin was 51 pins. Welu is on the strike. He can pick himself up 20 to 30 pins in the next 2 frames, unless Andy can turn it in. Let's watch. Nope, too much of the 6. He's open. So Rogoznica getting his second open frame. Andy reaching out, drying his hand a bit on the hand dryer, one of the fine AMF conveniences and part of the magic circle. Rogoznica is up. He does not carry the 5-pin. You will notice There is no ball visible until it comes through to the magic circle, the underlane ball return. No distraction of returning bowling balls coming back at you. Just another wonderful convenience to make this game so much more enjoyable. Let's get out, Mother, in the afternoons. Have your fun. There it is. And you know, Mom, if you have children, you'd like to bowl during the day. Once you get the kids to school, there are morning leagues, there are afternoon leagues, there are nurseries. You can bring the little ones along if they're preschool age. Get home in time for lunch when the youngsters come home, or take them along. That'll solve the babysitter problem. 4-7. So Billy has just about eliminated himself, and it looks very much like Pat Patterson and Bobby Kowalik. $10,000 to the winner, $5,000 to the runner-up. Going 6 games, 2 weeks. Championship bowling from Northbrook, Illinois. Welu has the cover. So for Welu, the story has been a little high, a little short. A little high, a little short. Unable to stay on that strike line. The best Billy can get is 270. So that makes it official. It's Patterson and Kowalik. Well, he got the kick on that one. So for Welu, the big one in the 4th. Rogoznica moving in on the right side, on a spare, trying to protect that margin and pick up $1,000. Andy lost his first match to Eddie Labansky of Detroit, even though he had a great finish of 269. He'll never get there. Misses the head pin, the 1, the 2, and the 8. Andy's been an all-star since 1949, rolled a sanctioned perfect score in the 1958 Chicago All-Star Eliminations. Started as a pin boy when he was just 13 years of age, 3 years after coming to this country from Yugoslavia. There's the cover. 1, the 2, and the 8. So at the end of 4, Welu has a lead here of 16 pins. He trailed by 51. Pin. So Andy unable to pick up a strike here in the 3rd and final game. Rogoznica went in needing 283. Welu needed 279. That's out of the reach of both of these fellas. And we have set it up. It's Patterson and Kowalik. I'm going to try to get them both out here, too, at the end of this show. They're here. They've got things to think about over the next 2 weeks as Big Billy Welu moves in the right now to try to win his second match. He defeated Ray Shannon the first time out with 720. Picking up one of the 6 700s that we have. Too high, 4-7. Billy just turned around and walked back. Bobby Kowalik has the highest 3 games, 763. He has the highest single game, 290. And Patterson has the second highest 3 games, 747, and the second highest single, 287. So it would seem only natural that these 2 boys should meet in the finals. The 4 and the 7. Welu covers. 20, 40, 60, 80 spare for Welu, 63 spare for Rogoznica. We go into the last 5 frames. Doesn't get there. The 2, the 4, the 5, and the 8. Really slowed that ball down somewhat. Earlier, he felt he was throwing it a little too fast. So he's been doing a lot of fishing here since the show has started. And again, we just repeat that in practice, Billy had no worries. Those television cameras sort of changed the situation a bit. At the 2, the 4, the 5, and the 8, he covers the spare, and Rogoznica, very fortunate here that Welu's been unable to string them out. Andy has not had a strike. He has been open. 6-7 split in the second. Right on this side. Hanging on for $1,000. Andy throws. He's deep. He's too high again and breaks up to 6-7. This time nothing but the 6-pin. And that 51-pin advantage beginning now to fade away as Billy has cut 14 pins off that margin. And he has 4 frames to get the rest of them. Rogoznica and the 6-pin. The spare. Andy finished 3rd in the American Bowling Congress tournament in the doubles in Fort Wayne, Indiana in 1955 with his partner Dick Jensen. Throws the semi-fingertip variety. Of course, this fellow drills all his own bowling balls. Doesn't get there. Much like Welu leaves the 2-5 and the 8. The 4-pin not there, but that 4-pin, of course, doesn't mean too much on this spare. It's the same shot, actually, with the 4 or without it. And Andy will tell you this is one of the toughest shots on the board. You got to be concerned about taking the 2 off the 5. You got to have enough ball to get over there and kick the 8 out. And he's got a nice shot. So Andy hangs on, but of course he lost some pins in counts, another 3 pins. It's 99 spare. Welu in on the right. Billy trying to still salvage the $1,000. Billy spots his right toe exactly where he wants it. Moves the left foot slightly in front of the right. 4 steps, big lift, sets it, he's there. There's the strike. So Welu now in position to pull this one out. Still has a chance for 236. That would force Rogoznica to get 216. And without a strike for 7 frames, Andy's going to have problems getting that. In fact, the best he can get is 209. So Welu can go all the way out here and pull this match out. 4 pins stops him. So Rogoznica still hangs on without a strike. Welu has had 3. He's been unable to get the double. And Andy, with a cushion of 51 pins, can afford to lose 50 of them, naturally. And if your opponent can't get the doubles, you can hang on by making spares, and that's what Andy's doing. We go into the 8th. Welu has chalked up his spare. Rogoznica, if he can fill in the 8th, 9th, and 10th, should have enough. He's out there again, the 1 and the 2, and Andy's playing it pretty cozy. He didn't want to hit that nose again. He was on that nose in the 6th, almost had the split. In the 2nd, he did have the 6-7. He missed the head pin here in the 4th, and now again in the 8th. So Welu still has room. He's 20 pins out in front. He has 2 frames to go. There's the double. So Andy moves to the left side. Now Welu can still shoot 216. That would mean that Rogoznica needs 166. So he's got to pay attention in both these frames. There's the strike, and that'll make it a little easier. So Andy will have to mark in the 10th if Welu goes all the way. For $1,000. Next week, the first 3 games of the finals. Pat Patterson from St. Louis. Bobby Kowalik from Detroit. Now Welu's got the strike. So Welu will go out first if Billy can go all the way for 216. Rogoznica will need 166. Check that out, Charlie. I believe that's right. And to get 166, Andy will have to mark in the 10th. If he misses in the 10th, he'd have 165. So it would be a tie, actually. There's the first one. So Welu needs every single pin for 216. 9 pins and open for Rogoznica, we could have a tie. Of course, if that happens, the boys would split. $750 apiece. Billy Welu, with this strike, will force Rogoznica to mark. He's too high, and he's the winner. Billy Welu on the short end. So that means that Rogoznica won one and lost one. Welu won one and lost one. Welu defeating Ray Shannon in his first appearance, and he lost to Eddie Lebansky in his first appearance. But a win here over Billy Welu, the big fella from St. Louis. The cover for 204. So Billy unable to get off the ground. 206, 214, 204 for 624. Rogoznica was on his way to a 700 total. He had 471. Unable to get off the ground here in this game. In the 10th, throws too high again, leaves the 610. So the margin with a cover here, 177. Welu winning the last game by 27 pins. Be around 20 pins. Andy Rogoznica from Chicago covers. The count will give him 177. So it'll be veteran against rookie, so to speak. Bobby Kowalik, an up-and-coming young Detroiter with a big chance of his career, and a veteran campaigner from St. Louis, Big Pat Patterson, the big smiling Irishman. Starting next week, the finals. Rogoznica with the count for 177. Welu winning the third game. Rogoznica winning the total. We'll have a word or two and the presentations, and then a little preview of next week's start of the championship roll-offs. Fred Wolf here in Northbrook, Illinois. We'll be back in one moment. Right now, our hosts.
Here are the scores. Andy Rogoznica, 248, 223, 177. The total is 648. For Billy Welu, 206, 214, 204. The total, 624. The winner, Andy Rogoznica with 648. Did you enjoy the match? Now, for the records, Billy Welu, a total of 1344 for his 6 games. Andy Rogoznica, 1313. Gentlemen, it just was not enough.
Freddie, I couldn't get my timing grooved out. I didn't even hit them good in practice this week.
I don't know, but I saw you throw a lot of good ones in practice.
1 or 2.
But it's a little different when the cameras start to roll, isn't it?
Well, it's always different.
The ball gets a little heavier. Andy, how did you feel about going into these final 3 games? You needed 754.
I need a lot of pins, Freddie. And
Wasn't out of your way.
It could have been done, but
done.
you have to get a real good start and just keep going. And I had a pretty good start, but I didn't keep going. So,
Andy, $1,000. That'll keep you going for a day or two. And to you, Billy, $500. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give them both a nice big hand. Good luck to you. Well, next week we start the Run for the Roses. The 2 finalists will go 6 games. It'll be total pins over 2 weeks. Let's bring out the top scorer from St. Louis, Pat Patterson. How we go, boys? Well,
very happy to be here, Fred.
I see you're with your buddy, the second highest scorer from Detroit, Bobby Kowalik. Come on over here, Robert. Come around here. Well, first, Pat hasn't had as long as Bob has. Bob, you've been sweating it out here week after week, haven't you?
I guess so.
Now you've made the finals. Now this guy's going to make you do some sweating.
I think you will, too.
You think he will, too? I think he will, too. Now, right in back of me, this one's worth $10,000, gentlemen. This one is worth $5,000. You'll go 6 games total pins, get in shape. We start next week. So both of you shake hands now and go practice. We'll see you. Try and be with us. It ought to be a great final because we have veteran against rookie. The question will be, can the rookie go with the veteran? That's the question, and it's the big one. Try to join us again next week now on Championship Bowling here from the Strike and Spare Lanes in Northbrook, Illinois. This is Fred Wolf. I want you to keep 'em bowling out there. I'll see you.
Matching shirts and slacks used on championship bowling by King Louie. Championship bowling is sanctioned by the American Bowling Congress, and we wish to thank AMF for their cooperation in helping us to produce championship bowling.